And as we wrap up the session, get ready for bed, helmet comes off. Let's chat with a few folks. Hey Alistair, that was a fun grey Warden-y day we had.
Something on your mind?
Yeah, I had another dream about the Archdemon, like just before the attack.
Yes, me too. And I got the feeling at the end there that it saw us, was aware of us, whatever you want to call it. Could have just been my imagination, I suppose. What do you think?
I think you're probably right, yeah. Yeah.
You know how some people want to be right all the time? Me, not so much. I guess one thing is certain, at least, isn't it? It's official. This is a blight.
Yeah, well, we have seen the Archdemon before. You really have nothing else to say?
Something on your mind? Of course.
Didn't think so. Oh well. Short conversation, but the first we've had on with Alistair in a while. Next, I don't think we actually got any gifts, unfortunately, so I don't think we're going to be able to push Sten up anymore, not unless Bodan's suddenly selling any. It's been I've surely been tempted.
Are you sure I can't interest you in this?
Shut up, Bodan.
I'm sure you'll be pleased with...
I've sorely been tempted to activate the feast day pranks just to get Sten's affection up just a little bit. I think we're probably quite close to learning a bit more. And it's something I may do because this is probably going to be the only time I play this game. You know? And so if it goes on too much longer and Sten continues to be the brick wall, I would use the feast day pranks to push him up just a little bit. But then again, it's only something I'm considering. It's not something I say for sure. And feel free to weigh in if you think that would be too immersion breaking or game breaking or whatever. But hi.
Yes. I am hardly surprised. Very well. Speak, then. Then I suggest we move on.
Bye.
As you wish.
One day. Hopefully. Zevran.
What is your desire?
I can't think of a clever answer to that. Okay, care to answer some questions?
All right, but I get to stare at you luridly while you do so.
Tell me more about your adventures.
Again? Well now, what might interest you, I wonder? Shall I describe the stages involved with Lanthrax poisoning? I watched a man go through all 7 once.
Well, that sounds like fun.
Haha, you have rather macabre tastes, I see. I like that.
I was being sarcastic.
How about the largest battle I ever took part in? That would have been the slaughter of Prince Azrin. Did you hear of that down in these parts?
Azrin? I don't think so, no. You killed a prince?
Me? Not personally, but I did take part in the attack. Prince Azrin was 4th in line to the throne, you see. He started off as 11th, but worked his way up the old-fashioned method by inheriting control of an entire Crocel from his grandfather. After assassinating his way through the royal family, the king hired 3 other cells to take down Prince Azrin once and for all. I was in one of those cells.
Alright, I see. I didn't know you guys divided yourself into cells. And... is this sort of thing common? Well, it's his royalty, I guess, but why not simply arrest him?
Prince Azrin was too powerful. Who could you send to arrest the man that wasn't either in his pocket or that didn't fear being assassinated first? Antivan royalty is very much bound up in the crows. You wouldn't want it run by a bunch of commoners, after all, would you? And this means they get involved in politics quite often. This particular fight nearly bankrupted the nation, I understand. It almost ended up putting a crow on the throne, a commoner. But that's a whole different story. I played a very small part.
Okay. Sounds like an odd way to run the country, though.
Antiva might seem a bit odd in that way to outsiders. We take it in stride, however. Assassins are simply part of the landscape, so to speak. My part in the entire battle was taken up trying to reach Princess Verina, who had thrown in with her brother. I killed about 11 of her guards personally before I got knocked out of a window.
Oh.
I landed in a river and nearly drowned. I was fished out by some urchins who robbed me blind. Made off with my boots, too. At least they didn't cut my throat. And that was my part in history.
Oh my god. You got robbed by urchins?
I had to find my way back to the safe house, bruised and naked, and thankful to be alive. But there you go. Tale told. Let's be off before I tell more embarrassing stories, huh?
I like the embarrassing stories. Leliana.
Well, aren't you sweet and attentive?
Always. Let's go to bed. No. Well, really? These are my only two options now? Hang on. I'm actually going to quick save here and then say we need to talk.
Well, aren't you sweet and attentive?
We need to talk.
Of course.
Ah, good, okay. What I was worried about is this would force me into ending it, and in which case I would have honest to God reloaded the quick save, which is not something I like to do, but you know, if I feel the game is being unfair, then that's what I'll do. Okay, ba-doo 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 ba-doo. Ba-doo 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 ba-doo. Wow, a whole bunch of conversations has opened up for you. I have interest. Are you feeling better about what happened with Marjolaine?
Yes, a little better. Time heals all wounds, so they say. Scars remain, but they are just colors in the painting that is my life, no?
Well, fair enough. I think I see what you mean. They add to the complexity and beauty of the piece, yes they do.
Yes, that is what I'm saying. I wish things had happened differently, but knowing her and knowing me, I don't think it could have. We had good times, though, and I look back on those fondly. Whatever happened after will never change the truth of the past.
Absolutely. Well, you know, you can talk to me if you need to.
It's not so bad. Look, now I have new friends, a new family. In spite of it all, life is good.
Joy. We have a lot of conversation options for her, and I'm wondering how many more sessions back at camp there will be after this, you know. Orzammar and then on to 1. How many more chances will I get to have a chat with Leliana around the campsite? I think I might chat with her again just before I finish the session. Just because there was quite a lot of options there and I wouldn't want to miss out on any of them. Win.
What's on your mind?
The end's in sight, Win. It's close, you know? We're at least further from the beginning than we are from the end. One adventure. I'll never lead a normal life, though, will I?
No, you won't.
You're blunt. I could try, but it wouldn't work.
No, it wouldn't, would it? Being a Grey Warden is in your blood now. You can't escape it. You wonder sometimes, don't you? If your life would be better if you weren't who you are.
I think my family would be alive. So, I mean, I as in Nathan, accept the duty that's been given. But yeah, I'd be very surprised if it didn't play at all.
When I was a young woman in the tower, I came to the realization that the circle would be my life, and I would know no other. Family, love, a simple life. These were things that others took for granted, that I would never have.
And this upset you?
It made me very moody. All I could think of was being trapped in that tower with no way out and no end in sight. I started hating my life and myself, and one night I found myself in the tower's chapel. I was seeking refuge, maybe answers.
It's hard to imagine you as a moody youth.
Well, I was. Dreadfully morose. Surly. Anyway, where was I? Ah, yes, the chapel. I must have looked tearful or made some noise, because the revered mother came out and decided to speak to me. And because I had no one else to talk to, I talked to her. I must have said many silly things, but she told me that the Maker puts us all on our paths for a reason, and fighting our intended course is what causes so much anguish.
I can't get enough of that religious claptrap. Accept where you are, because fighting against it just is pointless to an extent. Yeah, I can dig that. I can dig it. Maker or not, I think that's true. Yeah.
I thought the old biddy was full of rubbish. I was 15, maybe 16, and I knew everything. So I left. But I always found my way back to that chapel. And as the years passed, I began to see the truth of her words. We were supposed to be polar opposites, mage and priest. But we weren't. There was much about us that was the same.
Well, I suppose priests have to give up a lot too, but priests do have to choose to be priests. Mages don't. That's a good point. Wonder how you'd respond to that.
Not all priests choose their path. Some children are given to the chantry to raise and become initiates.
Oh.
The revered mother had lived in the chantry all her life, as I had been in the tower for all of mine. She taught me that you can find your family in the people around you, that you can love your work and find fulfillment in duty. And there is joy even in self-sacrifice. If you put others before yourself, then their well-being is yours, and their happiness is your happiness.
Well, it won't be easy to live that way. I mean, I do see your point, but it won't.
You can scream and cry and be angry about life as a Grey Warden, or you can accept it and allow yourself to see the good in it. This is your choice.
I do know that one. Doesn't make you any less right, however. Thank you. Alright, moving on. Well, I'll donate to them at the start of the next session. Don't need to do it right now. Morgan, I suppose you have anything new to say? Highly doubtful.
I await your command.
As always, and I'm sort of loath to give it. Although you came out with us in the last session, you did very well. You didn't get to fight a dragon though, and I do apologise for that. Particularly considering, you know, one of the dragons was your mother. This would really have been the only opportunity you would have had. Okay, ask.
So, full of questions, are you?
No. No. I don't think I've gained any more affection with her since the last time I asked that, so let's not bother. Aside from that... Severin, Glenelg, blah 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 blah. Hey Shale, looking awesome in orange.
It speaks.
It usually does, yes. I have questions.
It doesn't have better things to do.
I am told that you killed your former master.
Did I not already tell it that I do not remember doing such? I remember having a master. My memories of what happened to him are vague.
Uh-huh. But not non-existent.
Clever and true. Oh, very well. Let me see what I can recall. My former master enjoyed experimenting upon me. I remember that much. There was tinkering with spells, and then the crystals. He was very eager to alter my function, I think.
Really? Oh yeah, you said that he wanted to become a channel for mana. But why? I mean, I'm actually going to say this one, because I'm charming like that. You're fine as you are, Shale.
Flattery. And obvious flattery, too. I feel warm and fuzzy inside. He possessed my control rod, and back then, it would have prevented me from doing anything he did not command me to, no matter how I might have wished to. So what happened? I am unsure. He was experimenting, and then... nothing.
Yeah? So he hit the kill me button by accident?
Oh, ho, ho. It does like to laugh, does it? But who knows? I may have such a thing. And then he was gone. I was standing where I was, in the village, and I could no longer move. The villagers came, poked and prodded me in fear, and then realized they could neither move me nor destroy me. So they simply left me. And in time I forgot I hadn't stood there all along.
Oh, fair enough. Did you want to kill him? Wait, you don't wonder where he'd gone? Wasn't he there at your feet? Where had he gone?
Wonder? I was glad that he was gone. For so many years I'd had to leap to that little toadstool's every command. get this, pick up that, put it down, pick it up again. The gall! At first, I'd hoped he'd simply decided to leave me there paralyzed. An acceptable trade-off. After years passed, I simply stopped caring.
Fair enough. Maybe it has something to do with your crystals.
Possibly. Except that he was not experimenting with the crystals at the time, I think. But my memory is not good. It may be correct. Whatever the mage did seemed to render the control rod useless, for which I should be thankful, yes? And provided it doesn't decide to copy his experiments, not that I would allow it, it is nothing to fear from me. Much.
Well, I was simply curious about the story.
And now it knows, and doesn't it feel better? Let us get back to the walking and the fighting. My stone is beginning to itch again.
Awesome. I wonder what your approval is with me now, Shale. It's 36. That ain't nothing. Sorry about that, guys. Need to go. Bathroom break. Right, where was I? Just spoken to Shale, and now we were going to speak to Leliana and then wrap the session up. Hey, Leliana, again.
Well, aren't you sweet and attentive?
Yep, again. We need to talk.
Of course.
You were a traveling minstrel. Do you have any tales to share?
Of course I do. I love stories far too much to keep them to myself. Everyone should be able to benefit from them, I think.
Let's... 1 second, yeah, because I think there was one here about the dwarves, wasn't there? Darkspawn, stories from Morley, Flemeth, Alindra and her soldier, another story.
Which one?
Are you looking directly at me? What is so fascinating over my right soldier? Let's see. Andraste's death, Andraste and the Maker, the Dalish. The Dalish is a possibility. Wait.
It will come to you soon, I'm sure.
No, nothing much here. Though I do feel like just hearing a generic tale from you, so how about some stories from Orlais?
Of course, Orlesians enjoy telling stories. I shall tell you my favorite tale of Aveline, the Knight of Orlais.
Okay, I think I haven't heard this one. Go ahead.
A long time ago, a girl child was born to a farmer. He had hoped for a son, not a daughter, and so he told his wife to abandon the child in the woods. Before the cold could claim her, the baby was found by a tribe of Dalish elves who took pity on the poor mewling thing and raised her as their own. Aveline, for that is what they called her, grew strong and quick and clever under the guidance of the elves. She learned to wield the sword as well as any man, could kill a deer with an arrow at 100 paces, and was as graceful on the back of a horse as she was on foot.
Human with the elf characteristics. I saw that coming. Continue, please.
Aveline's Dalish guardians saw that she could easily best any Orlesian chevalier in battle, and wanted to show the cruel humans the child they had left to die. They bestowed upon her a fine horse and armor, and sent her to prove herself to her people in the grand tourney. Now in those days, no woman was allowed to take up arms, let alone compete in the grand tourney, but Aveline kept her helmet on and was not discovered.
Oh, this sounds like a tale we've heard several versions of, you know, just in general, not in Dragon Age Origins, but just in life. Okay, go on.
Aveline won many events and gained the approval of the adoring crowd. Eventually, she came face to face with the knight Kaleva in the Grand Melee. Aveline had already bested him in the joust, and Kaleva was determined not to lose a second time. Out of desperation to regain his honor, Kaleva tripped Aveline and tossed her to the ground, ripping off her helmet as he did so. Silence fell upon the arena as Aveline was revealed. Kaleva declared the previous competitions invalid. A woman had taken part, and this was not allowed. But the crowd cheered for Aveline. Kaleva was furious, for he had lost to a woman and was now being shamed. Blinded by his rage, he forced Aveline to her knees. "Know your place, woman," cried he, and slit her throat.
Yeah. I was hoping for a happy ending.
The son of the king, Prince Freyan, was present. He recognized Aveline's skill and bravery and began to see the injustice done to the women in his land. When he was made king, he rewrote the laws of Olay so that women could also become chevalier. He honored Aveline and knighted her after her death. And to this day, any female who is knighted reveres Aveline the Brave, for she is the patron of all women chevalier.
That's, okay, so, yeah, just goes to show, even though it's not simple, something good does come out of that. I wonder if that's true. Is that one of these stories that you tell is just like fable, or is it actually a true story? Oh, that was nice. Alright. Well, let's move on. Tale to be told, for sure, but nothing caught my eye there. We gonna speak to you a third time? Yeah, I want to, just quickly.
Well, aren't you sweet and attentive?
We need to talk.
Of course.
What will you do when all this is over?
I have not given this a lot of thought. What will I do? We've traveled far and wide. Does it need to end?
Well, I would like to see the world too.
There's so much out there. Adventures to be had and stories to be told. I want to be part of it all. I might need some company. And you're not too irritating.
Oh.
You're welcome to come along if you like.
Not too irritating. A little bit of irritation is just the way I like it. Mentally, not physically. That's a very important distinction. Well, when you put it that way, how can I say no?
It is settled then. You and I wandering the world, seeking our fortunes. I can't wait.
Well, I was actually quite sure that's good, because I don't usually talk to people 3 times in one session, Leliana. Only for you, hope you know that. Big talk, big plans for your future that may or may not be. But there's nothing wrong with a flight of fancy every now and then. Gives you something to drive for, to hope for, that can actually help you pull through a really difficult situation. And that, I believe, is that. Today we have been to Soldier's Peak. We have killed almost everything in Soldier's Peak that deserved killing, I should say, with the possible exception of Avernus. That quest, that DLC, that is possibly given me some of the most interesting moral choices that I've ever had to deal with in Dragon Age Origins, and I'm very, very impressed with that. I actually think it might... I mean, the DLC, they've all been really good, so it's a very close competition, but that one that we just did, that might actually be my favourite, just simply for its story. It remained interesting throughout, and I liked that it was for the Grey Wardens as well, because I like doing stuff for the Grey Wardens. It makes me feel... It gives me a duty rush, if that makes sense. So yeah, that was good. And we freed that up, and hopefully, you know, after all this is done, we get to call that place home as an organisation, Alistair and I, and these guys, if we let them into our cool clubhouse. And then the next session is back onto the treaties, back to Orzammar. We can take Shale, maybe Shale will meet a golem. And after that, after Orzammar, though I understand Orzammar is quite long, it'll be, I guess, the Landsmeet, and then it really is on to sort of the end game, I think. It does... I know it's not that close, but it feels kind of close. And this is definitely jumping the gun, but this is just... I am going to miss this when it's gone, certainly. But I am waffling. We'll go towards Orzammar next time. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching, everybody. And I will see you in the next episode.